being social.
That's my mask.
Oh, that's all right.
My bad. Literally the bare minimum we can do.
Yes.
Fair to assume people can do it.
True enough. Yeah, it's been nice to see people coming back out, and there's a certain liveliness, it seems, that comes with their I'm guessing you didn't stay up late last night.
I wasn't in bed earlier today.
Okay.
My girlfriend is a server, so she gets home from work pretty late.
Yes,
I like to be
imagine.
awake when she gets home.
Oh, that's sweet.
So we work opposite schedules, so
So
try
time
to
together is a
see her any
premium.
minute I can.
Oh man, that's a tough one, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it works out.
What is it you do for work?
I am in charge of inventory management and health and safety at a tile and stone warehouse. It's real riveting stuff.
Really specific portfolio, yes. Okay, now honestly though, is there elements of relish in your work, or is it for the most part just kind of, we got to get through this, but this is what it is?
No, like generally, I like my job. I don't really love the health and safety portion of it.
Yeah.
Mostly because I find it's tedious and redundant and could be avoided if more people just use some common sense.
Yeah.
So most of health and safety is just
Common sense.
forcing people to use common sense, which honestly
Yeah.
defeats the point of common sense.
Right.
But the inventory management stuff I really like. I find it interesting, it's engaging, it presents new challenges all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like all the people I work with. So
Cool.
that's the main thing for me.
I find it's always the people that make the huge difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen a pattern where some folks may feel ambivalent about the work that they're doing. It's like, but the people that they work with, they are just like so tight with, which transforms that workplace into something super like fun to be,
Absolutely.
as opposed to someone who loves what they do, super passionate, but if they don't get along with the people, it turns out to be a bit of a hellhole, for them.
Absolutely. I mean, like that would suck. Like to try to do something you love
Yeah,
and have it be terrible because of the people around you. That would just be
they can totally be affected that way, right?
absolutely. And then it can affect how you feel about that thing you love. And
Yeah.
That's tragic.
Yeah. It's rare to find those who both love at their job and the people that they work with,
Exactly.
which is a happy combination.
It is. I think it's important to get some enjoyment out of your day.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also those who hate both.
It's true.
And that's also an unfortunate thing to witness.
It is unfortunate. It'd be nice if everybody could do something they like with people they like.
I'll tell you what, my experience has been a very lengthy season, lengthy as in years, to find out what I think I was made for. And it's been a few in my experience who have found that they knew what that was from the very outset. In kindergarten, they're like, I'm going to be a nurse or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of have a set track that way where there's purpose kind of behind all of their preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And then for others like me, it's like years of like, okay, try this, that's not quite it yet, and we just kind of keep going through that cycle of what is it that we're refining. And I don't find many who arrive at that place where they're super passionate about it and filled with that sense of urgency, like to say, this is what I need to accomplish while I'm here, Thankfully, I think I finally got there, but it took a while. It took a while, and it wasn't a smooth process either. But I think when one finds it, there's just, I don't know, like, it transforms your whole outset of seeing the world, right?
Absolutely. And what is it that you found that you're passionate about?
I'm passionate about the way people connect socially. More on the practical level of, I'm looking really carefully at how people communicate and seeing the patterns that are currently afoot, but what could be as well too. And that for me is where my primary point of investment is, in saying, here's what I'm seeing, but what could be, as we go forward. I think there's a lot of happiness happiness that people could be afforded, could they attend, like even as we were talking about before, that dynamic at work, those who love the people they work with, even though they may not be fascinated by the job, and yet that transforms their whole experience, you know?
Yeah.
That insatiable hunger, I would argue that most in this context socially have, of, hey, what is it like to be seen, to be attended to be heard, to be affirmed, like so many elements that people are desperate for, but they don't live on, and so they kind of starve for it. So if you think of, like, in the physical sense, when you're starving your body of good nutrition, but you're settling for the crappy stuff, there's a certain response that your body has to it that isn't helpful and beneficial. I would take that even into the social context and say a lot of us are in a deprived season right now, where we're famished for those critical elements in our social structure that bring life and health to our existence, really. So I think there's a lot of happiness that people could be afforded, could they have some help in attending to some observations and the evolutions of what could be in the way that they engage socially.
Very, very interesting.
I think so too.
Yeah, extremely. I've never thought of it that way. Like in the parallel between, like, you know, proper nutrition and how that fills your body, and then, you know, proper mental or emotional nutrition.
Well, I look at the current priorities that our society places right now by way of value. So socially, those who attend the gym and have a really good physique would have more worth by way of interest, for example, romantically. Those who are funny are more fun to be around, right?
Yeah.
Those who are successful economically perhaps have more options. But the consistent factor in all these groups that are sought after, who the culture would say, hey, that's almost what it's like to have made it in some sense, they are, I would argue, as deprived of this critical element of what does it mean to have your people, your close people in life, with whom you can let your guard down and express what's really going on the inside. What's it like to be able to be really okay with your past and your messiness, which we all have, but none of us is ever feeling safe enough to delve into or share, because there is this fear element of, is this person trustworthy? I've been hurt before. Or is this community safe for me to start, you know, exploring what is really on my mind? Am I going to be seen as an outcast, kind of thing? So we all come with this kind of actress pose of, I'm going to present this side to the world of competence, of having things put together. I mean, look at us. We're driving these vehicles that lack dings, you know. Most of us, before we walk out into public, we're looking at ourselves in the mirror to see, are we presentable? And so we go through life presenting this facade that really keeps us from actually getting to the very heart of, can someone see me for the messiness that's inside, and can I be okay in their eyes? That's the part I think that's really scary, that most don't have access to, whether they're successful in cultural standards or not, to the point that now we're living as individuals in community that are isolated in our own space up here. Yeah, so that's why I'm really intrigued and fascinated by what is right now and what could be, and how do we actually start making progression towards what could be.
Nice. Was not expecting for, like, mind-blowing first thing. Here we are.
That's all right. It's
good. It's a good thing, though.
I think so.
Some of that communication you're talking about. Yeah, it's really cool.
Just that expression there, I think, continues to hone in and affirm why I'm doing what I'm doing, because the very fact that you haven't had a chance to think through these elements or considerations speaks to the dearth or the lack of engagement for people to say, oh, that's on my radar now. So we may not realize that we're yearning for something, but we don't know what it is, and we don't know how to get to it. You know what it's like when you have a need that needs to be expressed, but you don't know how to ask for it? It's kind of like going to the doctor and saying, something's really wrong internally, but I don't know what it is. He's like, I don't know if I can help you. I need some pointers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Until someone can actually start saying, here's the language that we could use to bring some attention to this specific area. Oh, it's in this area of the body? Oh, good. Now we're honing in. Oh, it's around your heart. Oh, that's significant, you know? Oh, and here's what's going on. Here's the description, you know? So it's really helpful when a potential patient goes to the doctor and is very specific about, doctor, here's exactly what's going on, because the more they can give intel to that doctor, the more he can be precise in the way he's applying his craft. But what we're doing right now, in my assessment, is we're doing a lot more of presenting that side of, I don't want to look like I'm broken, so I'll give my good face. It's like going to the doctor and saying, I think I'm okay. But you're walking away realizing that you didn't get the help that you needed, right? Again, because of fears.
Still can't breathe properly.
Exactly.
Oh, no, I think I'm fine. Just
Yeah,
tell the doctor that
absolutely. Yeah, along those lines. Yeah. That is a gorgeous sunrise. But it's at this level that it gets hard to sort of fake it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing if we are able to actually talk about the elephant in the room, saying we may not be doing so hot, but what could be in moving towards what it looks like to be more intuitive. Or, like, here's the thing, for my part, I know the way I present myself is a very specific way. One of the things I feel a lot on my platform online from interested parties, sometimes they'll ask me saying, are you sure, tell me about your sexuality, for example. Are you sure you're not gay? Now, I don't take offense at all, because I know what they're seeing. I know how they've been primed by culture to read a certain response because of things that they're seeing come their way, and so there's just this. So it's a fantastic conversation for me to say, nope, I'm definitely straight. However,